You know why you will forever and always change, my friend? Because your sexual energy is relentless. Welcome, my friend, to the most transformative podcast in the world. This is the Mastermind Podcast Challenge. Season what? Season 2 with your host, your doctor, Derek Israel, and this is the episode 554, my friend. Let's go. Let's start this podcast. We are every day, Monday through Friday, in this Mastermind Podcast Challenge, one full year of challenge after challenge after challenge of personal development and spiritual expansion. So join us. If you this is the first time that you are watching, hey, watch the podcast every day, uh, because you will gain a lot from it. Also, let me remind you that before we begin with the information, the essential information of today, that I launched my Manifesting Your Life Purpose course, English edition, with a 75% discount off. Okay, it's gonna be until Friday, and it's a huge opportunity. So, if you want me to help you directly to find your life purpose, your meaning in life, your greatest direction, go to the link in the description that says everything promoted or all promoted. Click there and you will be redirected to my course that is basically my most popular Spanish course. Life Purpose is my most popular Spanish course, and now I translate it to English with a 75% discount. So check it out. Now, your sexual energy is relentless. What the hell that means? Well, let me tell you a couple of things. First, I had this episode on my list for a while and I never do it. I don't know why, but one day I just said, I will just do it because it's so essential. And I need you to understand, man, that it's impossible for you not to change. It is impossible for you and for everyone else. You are not special. This is something that also applies to animals, to plants, to bacteria, to viruses, to everything alive, like everything that is in the universe, these things apply. But for you, in a special, apply very much because you're a human mind and you are always questioning and asking when I will change this. It is possible to modify this. Dude, it is impossible not to modify yourself. It is impossible to be in the same place. It is impossible to be the same man twice. It is impossible to be the same woman twice. It is impossible to be you twice, to be you in two different seconds of time, in two different instances on time or instances. So Why we are always changing so much, although sometimes we appear that we are not changing at all? Well, it's primarily because we are sexual beings and our sexual energy is relentless. Our sexual energy is the drive that is making sure that you survive because you need to propagate your genes. Yes, it's a very, very primal energy in its most rough form. Everything have different type of forms in existence, from the part that is most sophisticated, more harmonious with the source, until that energy arrives to this third dimension, to this biological dimension. So when your sexual energy arrives to this dimension, it's a very, 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 very relentless energy that is always trying to create the new, that is always trying to reinvent the new, in this case with biological structures. But if you are more subtle than that, if you are more aware than that, you will also notice that your sexual energy is operating also for change in your mind, for change in your emotions, for change in your habits, for change in your spirit, for other type of change that is not necessary a biological reproductive change, although that is kind of the main purpose in the biological dimension of your sexual energy. So you are a being, you are a human being that is made of sexual energy. Just notice that. Just breathe that truth and just notice how in every part of your body, in every space inside of your body, in every hair of your body, in every cell of your body, in every atom of your body, you can find your sexual energy. If you can only find your sexual energy in your genitals, that means that you have a consciousness that is very localized in your genitals. Now, consciousness is fluid, consciousness is expansive, and when we are talking about doing personal development, we're not talking about other thing that is not expanding our consciousness. So while you are doing your yoga, your meditation, your affirmations, your therapy, you're working with your coach, or whatever you do to grow, to expand, you will inevitably also experience your sexual energy getting more and more decentralized to your whole body, mind, creativity, intelligence, expression, your wording, how you word things, also how you enjoy things. Because your sexual energy tends to propagate in all the dimensions instead of just focalizing in your genitals. But that comes with consciousness. And sometimes this happen and you don't even notice, because notice, to grow in life, it doesn't mean that you will be advanced sexually. I know a lot of coaches, very, very good people, awesome people that really have grown in their life. They have put in the work. They had read the books, they have done the techniques. And sometimes I approach them because I am writing a book that is called in Spanish, Beta versus Dioses, La Guerra por tu Supremacía Sexual. In English will be Beast versus Gods, The War for Your Sexual Supremacy. And it's going to be the second book that I will be launching very soon after Terapia con Derek or Therapy with Derek. That will be my first book, and that is coming in the next following weeks. I'm very excited about that. So for that book of Beast versus Gods, I have been doing a lot of questions to people that I consider very intelligent in my nucleus of influence in my personal life, like people that I know personally. And I have asked people that are very advanced in all of the other areas. But I didn't expect that sexually they were so repressed. Like I asked them, hey, this question, very very simple question in my thinking. Maybe I am weird, and yes, I know that I'm weird, but I don't consider that question so weird. So I asked them, hey, what for you? No, I told them first, I am, writing this book. I am asking you because I consider you intelligent. Can you please provide me this feedback? Because with your feedback, I can put it in the book. It will be anonymous. No one will know it's you. I will put it as if you, I said to them, I will not put it as if I wrote it. I will put it like a name for you that is a name that is invented, so people will know that this was said for, from someone else. But I will not put your name because I know that sexuality has taboo and stuff like that. So I asked them, hey, what for you mean or means um, a sexual beast, and what for you mean a sexual god? That was the question. Very straightforward, not big deal. It is not even a question that, is kind of a very, very personal question. It's what means for you? What is the definition in your mind for these two concepts, right? And a lot of these advanced people, some of them, they never answer back. But the ones that did, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, they were like, let me think about it. A sexual beast uh, is a is a sexual animal, and that's it. And a sexual god, a sexual god is a supreme sexual thing, and that's it. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. But then in my mind, I was like, you are one of the most advanced people that I know in terms of maybe your coaching, your personal development, career, the way that you communicate. And that is the only thing that you are telling me about this question. And then I practice a little bit of empathy and a little bit of kindness. And I ask myself, why? Why these people are responding so vague, so without substance, like very quick, and almost I felt that they didn't want to answer. And hey, this didn't happen with everyone, but that happened with a lot of key persons that they were, advanced in other areas. And then I concluded something that struck me in the face very hard. And this is a very potent truth. And is that, personal development not necessarily will mean that you will sophisticate your sex. And we are living in a world in which a lot of coaches, yes, they may be very advanced in some areas, but they are very repressed in their sex. And so a lot of coaches have sent me messages since I changed a lot my content from being only like personal development, spirituality, and business to include sexuality as a substantial part of my content. A couple of coaches and, personal development gurus, they have growed me, telling me like, oh man, Derek, I admire the sexual freedom that you are expressing in those videos. And I'm like, why? What? Like, I don't feel like it's sexual freedom. I feel it's just fucking normal. Like, I did the work. I was not a sexual guru before. I have so many sexual mistakes in my life. So many bad sessions, so many shameful sessions sexually. I screw up very hard sometimes, with women a lot in my life. My sexual guruness is just about, it's a effect of a lot of suffering and pain in my sexual dimension. Like, I don't consider myself special. I'm just expressing my growth. This is a normal growth that happen when you do sexual healing. I'm not special, but they are like, yes, you are special, man. That is so awesome. And then I was like, why people is saying to me this? And then I realized, oh, it's because personal development doesn't mean sexual advancement. So don't become like that. Don't become a person that is very, very advanced in all the areas. Like you read all the books, you know every technique about personal development, and then you cannot even talk about your sex. If you really want to be very advanced, you need to decentralize the stigma and the shame associated to your sex, associated to your body, associated to your genitals, associated to your sexual orientation, associated to your gender, whatever it is in that sexual dimension. You need to decentralize. You need to heal with forgiveness, self love, breathing, coaching, reading. If you want me to help you directly, well, I have a sexual mastery course. The link is in the description. Go there. So, sexual energy is relentless. It will never stop. It cannot stop. And that's why it will obligate you to new forms, to manifest yourself, to recreate, to reinvent yourself in new forms. Your sexual energy will always be knocking at your door for change. Now, the question is, are you going to open the door? Are you going to let your sexual energy drive you to where it wants you? That is the real question. And that is a very deep and personal question that you need to ask for yourself. So let me tell you some different kind of features that sexual energy have in its most natural essence that will make sexual energy relentless in your pursuit to change, in your expansion. So by you making or being conscious of these features of sexual energy, my hypothesis is that you will become more aware of this, and therefore you will be resisting less the change, and you will let your sexual energy transform you in whatever beast, angel, demon that you are destined to be, in whatever type of God you are destined to be, in whatever type of phenomenon you are destined to be. Let's see. I don't know what you are destined to be. You don't even know what you are destined to be. Let's see. Let's permit your sexual energy do his work or her work. And you just need to be aware of these things and not resist these things, promote these things, and sexual energy will take care of the rest. Exactly as when you want to reproduce biologically, you just, if you're a woman and you're having natural sex, nothing in laboratory, what happened? Well, you let the man ejaculate inside you. It's very simple. And what you do then? You do nothing then. You let your sexual energy do the rest, right? You let your eggs do the rest with the sperm. Also, if you're a man, you ejaculate inside the woman, and you then let the sperm do the rest. You are not saying to the sperm, "Hey, come on, go to your left, man, go to your right, there, conquer that egg, man, conquer that egg." No, you are sleeping in your bed while your sperm is 3 days approximately running through the vaginal conduct until it conquered an egg. And we call that conception, right? You don't need to do nothing afterwards. So exactly, you don't need to do nothing to change with your sexual energy. You just need to relax and let the process happen. By the way, this is not a promotion for you to be a father or a mother. Use a condom if you don't want that. All right. So this is the first feature of sexual energy that make it relentless in your change. Is that your sexual energy demands creativity. And you already knew this. You already knew this. I have been saying this for years now. It's mainstream. It is not something too radical. We know that sexual energy is creativity. Why? Well, because when you create another human being through sexual energy, well, you are creating, it's an energy that is creating another human being. So by definition, is creating yourself as well. Your sexual energy that is inside you, do you think it is there resting, waiting for you to release it to create? No, it is creating already. It cannot be not creating. It is relentless. That's why if you practice sexual transmutation, you can create other art through sexual energy. You can be a better painter using your sexual energy. You can be a better singer, a better podcaster using your sexual energy because it's the sexual creative drive. It's a creative drive. And if you want more information about sexual transmutation, I have an episode that is called Sexual Transmutation. Go there in my Spotify YouTube channel and you can hear that for free and learn about it. So you will always change because your sexual energy is always creating. See, also just stop being blocking yourself. Like if you're an artist and you think that you have creative block, you don't have creative block. What do you have is a belief that you have creative block. Because if you're alive, that means that you have sexual energy. And if you have sexual energy, that means that you have creativity going on right now in your existence. Now, if you just relax and let the process be, you will enjoy the benefits of your creativity. Let the process be. So sometimes I am writing a book and I am feeling like my words are not coming out. It's kind of a block, right? So what I do is I forget about the work and I just concentrate on my sexual energy. I breathe. I practice Mula Bandha. I have an episode on that. Just search on my YouTube or Spotify station Mula Bandha, but that is basically that I compress the Kegel muscle, the pelvic muscle upwards, and that ground my sexual energy. And I breathe and I breathe and I breathe, and then I start drawing something. I forget about the work. I forget about the words. I forget about the book. I relax and I start drawing something. I am not a drawer, but who cares? I'm just letting my sexual energy flow itself, whatever it wants to. I am not resisting, and I'm start drawing. I start writing a little bit stuff. Maybe I grab my cell phone. I do a story. I'm creating. Notice I'm creating. I am supposedly blocked, right? I am blocked. No, I'm not blocked, man. I'm fucking doing a story right now. But I am not concentrating on the book because, yes, I was a little bit blocked, but I am working around that. So I do a story and then I put the, maybe then I start singing some of my songs that I'm practicing because I'm working in my music project. So maybe I start singing a little bit without pressure. And then, oh, yes, I was writing a book. And then I grab the pen again and I find the words. And then I start writing again. But hey, I was never like that before. I used to be blocked creatively. Like before I knew this, like if my words didn't came out quickly, I became frustrated and I resisted the experience, and I was like, I was a bad artist before, but I learned that art, you cannot control it. You just can't surrender to it. And you surrender to it by knowing that you are sexual energy, that your sexual energy will always create, and that if you are not flowing in a specific task of creativity, move to other task of the creativity, lose your mind a little bit, distract, and then come back a couple of minutes later. I'm not talking about for days, for months. A couple of minutes later, come back and evaluate if you are in the same position or if you are in a more creative position. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Another feature of your sexual energy as a relentless machine is that your sexual energy demands expression. So, your sexual energy not only wants to create, but also wants to express itself. Your sexual energy wants to let the world that you exist, and that you exist with a certain modus operandi. I will do an episode about that maybe next month. But modus operandi is a certain way of being. You are not only another human being, you are an extraordinary, stupendous, so special, mesmerizing human being. And your sexual energy know it. Now, you may have low self-esteem and you may think little about yourself, but your sexual energy, she doesn't believe you. She just know that you are amazing, man. You are here. I don't care who you are. You may have Down syndrome, you may have autism, you may have intellectual diversity, whatever, man. You may be uh, intersexual, whatever. You are amazing, man. You are just crazy amazing, man. I was in a park with my daughter a couple of months ago, and it was a park that is inside of a mall, so it's a very small place. And my daughter was running there and with other kids playing, blah blah blah, and a Down syndrome guy, like he came to the park and he started playing with the other, not with the other kids, but he was playing by himself and having fun. And I was looking this kid with Down syndrome, and that was the most happy kid there, man. Like he was laughing his ass off. Like he went to the slider. It's a very small slider. He went to the slider and he was laughing like crazy. So he fell down. He laughed like crazy. If another child run around him, he laughed like crazy. I'm like, who is crazy? We or him? Because this guy is having so much fun. This guy is connected to the source every instant of his life. Is connected to supreme happiness. I don't know. Maybe it's more, maybe they are not like that every time, but just that guy in specific, that guy, he was pure happiness. Pure happiness, no stress at all. That is expression at his best. And he has Down syndrome. So I don't care who you are, man. You can express yourself and you should express yourself because that is your mark. That is your signature in the world. Your sexual energy demands expression. And you may ask, Derek, how I express myself? I don't know. I cannot tell you. You know, or you need to discover that. I do it through my podcast. I do it through videos. I do it through writing. I do it through music. I do it through painting. I do it through sex with my wife. I do it with my paternity style. I do it with different areas of my life because one of my constitutional values, and if you don't know what is a constitutional value, please go to my YouTube or Spotify station, an episode called Constitutional Values. One of my constitutional values is expression. So I know that I'm happy when I am expressing myself. I know that I'm happy when I am expressing Okay, I came back. I don't know, something. Oh, look, my. I didn't notice my light is here. Hey, I don't know exactly what the hell happened. I don't know if I lost maybe the signal or something happened. I hope that I didn't lose the whole podcast. It doesn't seem that I lose the whole podcast. But anyways, I'm back. So I know that I'm happy when I'm expressing. So that for me is a priority. So I encourage you to express yourself relentlessly by whatever medium you consider necessary. If you want to say something, say it. If you want to do something, do it. Express yourself. Another feature of sexual energy as being relentless is that sexual energy demands love. And love is union. Love is to become one with the thing. So if you are loving existence, truly, not with your ego, not with your desire, not with your premature fantasies about love, if you are really loving consciously, well, you will understand that you need to become one with everything else. And because you are not one with everything else right now, because you are so divided, and that is basically human personality. Human personality is division. The fact that you are saying that you are a person is division. You are saying you're a person, so that means that you are separated from everyone else, and not only from everyone else. You are separated from the whole Earth, the whole planet, the whole universe. You are a separate thing. So the fact that you are you demands that you are not loving entirely. Notice, if you want to love entirely, and that means to merge with everything else, you need to not be you. You need to leave yourself. You need to let go yourself. How many people do you know that they want to let go themselves? Very, very few. That's why they don't change so much. But some people, maybe like me, or some people like that, they practice this crazy stuff. If you ask them, hey, um, do you want to lose yourself? They will say yes. And that people, they are very connected with the prime source of sexual energy, and they will be the guys and women that they will be changing so much that you cannot even recognize them 2 months later. Why? Because they let go their attachment to the self, and they surrender their attachment to the self with love. And when you surrender yourself to love, you don't know where are you going. You don't know what is going to be your path. You don't know what will be your life purpose. You don't know what will be your art. You don't know what will be your next expression. You don't know how you will be, because that is love. Love is uncertain. Just notice, when you fall in love with a partner, those few days, how do you feel? You don't have control. right? You lose yourself. It's like, oh my God, I'm in love. Oh my God, I cannot control this. Well, I am encouraging you. That's a difficult question to say. Encouraging you, yeah. I'm encouraging you to be in love forever. I want you to be in love with life. I want you to be in love with art. I want you to be in love with culture. I want you to be in love with meditation. I want you to be in love with learning, with being hyper productive in things that are according to your life purpose. I want you to be in love with whatever you are doing, because when you are in love, you are relentless in becoming one with everything else, and therefore you will change into that. You will lose your divisions and you will become one with the whole thing. And now sometimes that is a drive, and it's not a state, and it's not a result. It's more like a process, but in that process you will advance. So love through your sexual energy. One of the most advanced things that you can do is to transform your sexual energy into love. And I have an episode on that. It's on Spanish, that is called Cómo transformar tu energía sexual en amor. Si sabes español, búscalo. In Spanish is how to transform sexual energy into love. Also, your sexual energy demands healing. You know why those many coaches that I asked, and they were like talking about sexual energy, they haven't done a lot of healing in that part. That's it. They did healing in their psychology. They did healing in in their traumas. They did healing maybe in their limiting beliefs related to career, related to money, related to blah, blah, blah. But they didn't attack their sexuality at all. So when you ask them, hey, what is your sexual fantasies, for example, if you ask them this, they will be like, oh, because that part of their mind, their sexual mind, is still very compressed, exactly as their parents wanted to be, exactly as their culture wanted to be. Sadly. And that is limiting their expression, that is limiting their creativity, that is limiting their love, because if you don't expand your sexual dimension, well, you are not expanding your core. So I need you to become very, very, very serious with sexual healing. And this is sometimes very subtle. And you may say, Derek, yes, but I don't have any trauma. I was never raped. I was never molested. Um, my sexuality is kind of good in the bed. Do I have to sexual heal? Yes. Unless you are perfectly fine with your sexuality and you can speak about it in a way that you never feel taboo, you never feel a little bit of shame, test yourself. Like, go to a mall tomorrow or today, go to a mall and in the front of people talk about your sexuality, like today, or go to a public place and do it. Can you do it? Or you will fail like, oh, I don't know. If you feel like that, and you probably feel like that, I am not saying that I can do it perfectly. I maybe will feel a little bit, although I sometimes do it because I record videos about it in front of people, but I feel a little bit of, I feel that shame a little bit also, but that is a good test. How can you talk about your sexuality very open? Can you do it in a university? Can you do it with a professor? Can you do it with your lawyer? Can you do it with in a speech that you do in a conference? That is part of your sexual healing, because when you can word things without too much emotions, that means healing. That's why in trauma, when we are in therapy, we want the patient to word his trauma in very sophisticated ways, because If he can word his trauma every time that he bring that up, he heals a little bit more. Every time that he transforms pain into words, he heals a little bit more. So your sexual energy demands breathing. So if you have a sexual trauma, then you need to go to a sexual therapist or to just a normal therapist or just a coach, or you need to embark in a very deep kundalini yoga kind of treatment. But you need to do something. You cannot live forever like that, because if not, you're going to be divided in your innermost being, your sexual being. And that is not a happy life. Also, your sexual energy demands breathing. Every breath is a guarantee that you continue to exist. And if you continue to exist, that means that you can use your sexual energy for propagation and for reproduction. So your sexual energy is making sure, just notice, your sexual energy is making sure that you continuously breathing every day, every time. So every breath is a will of your sexual energy. It's a disposition of your sexual energy for you to continue existing, for you to continue here in this reality. So if you drip, that is a new word. If you breathe deeply and consciously, as I have been teaching you, you will be more grounded and concentrated in your sexual energy. And you will propel your sexual energy to drive change, to drive progress in your existence. So help your sexual energy by breathing more deeply. I was working with a client a couple of days ago in coaching, and I taught him how to drip, what I'm saying drip. What the hell? Is that a new word that I want to invent or what? I taught him how to breathe to his genitals, to his balls, to his testicles. He's a man. And I taught him, hey, you need to breathe to the balls, right? And you need to let the air in that area. And then you need to push your Kegel muscle, your mula banda, push it upwards, maintain the pressure, and just be conscious in that. Like in the inhalation, maintain the air inside at the same time with the mula banda, and just spend 10 to 15 seconds like that. Just do it right now. I don't care if you're a woman or a man, just apply pressure in your pelvic muscle, in the muscle that you use when you want to stop peeing. If you are, taking a piss, just apply pressure to that muscle and breathe deeply, the most down that you can go, like into your genitals. If you can throw your air into your oh my God, genitals, the better. So do it. And just maintain that position. We can call this a posture. This is a posture of yoga. And then you release the air, you release the muscle, and that's it. It's a very simple breathing. But just notice how your mood change with this breathing. So practice this breathing a couple of times today. It's a very simple one. And I want you to notice how your consciousness, your breathing, and your sexual energy really are one thing. Only one thing. And you can be conscious of it with this breathing. And you can do it every time. And you are helping yourself to become better with this breathing. Trust me, you will get more creative, you will get a lot of energy, and you will ground yourself. This is a breathing for grounding. When you are too all over the place, when you are all emotional, all like la 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 la, breathe deeply, apply mula bandha, push for upwards your kegel muscle, and maintain it like that in the inhalation for a couple of seconds, and then release. Release, and then do it again, maybe 3 times. That's it. Very easy, but very powerful breathing. Also, your sexual energy demands intimacy. I have an episode on that on Spanish that is called Cómo intimar con el universo. Búscalo en mi canal de YouTube o Spotify. Cómo intimar con el universo. And it's one of my most popular episodes in Spotify. That one. People like it a lot. And it's basically how you can intimate with people and with the whole universe. But intimacy demands vulnerability, openness, reception. Intimacy demands that you are open to connect with people. And when you are open to connect with people, you are open to change. Because when you connect with people, what happened? Well, you change ideas, you interchange um, spirits, patterns of being, you interchange experiences, you transform with other people. So when you're open to intimate with people, you are open to modify your efforts, to modify who you are. But if you are not intimate with people, if you are close because you are fearful that maybe one guy or woman will hurt you again, and now you are kind of protecting yourself every time, over protecting your heart, not letting go your heart, not opening your heart to God, to love, to the presence, to the mystic, to the magic of existence, well, you are not letting your sexual energy change you, to modify you, to re-engineer you. That is what your sexual energy do. When you become intimate with another person, your sexual energy will connect with that person. And you may have love with that person, or make love with that person or not. It doesn't matter. Intimacy is not about sexual sessions. It's about connection. So you're letting yourself have connection. And you know how many people, they are not intimate even with their wives, even with their husband, they are not intimate. So contemplate this in your own life and make proper changes. And the final feature that I want you to learn about sexual energy, that you can become more aware, and by becoming more aware, you can resist less this process. And by resisting less, you can let your sexual energy flow and change you in very profound ways, is that your sexual energy demands reinvention all the time. Your sexual energy will never, never, ever, ever allow that you are the same. It will demand for you to reinvent your processes, you change, to sophisticate, to elaborate. I cannot come to this podcast and do every day the same thing, although it appears that I do it, because I come every day, every Monday to Friday to speak, and my ideas are, harmonious, in the sense that I am developing a philosophy of life that I'm sharing with you. And sometimes I repeat the ideas and I repeat the ideas, but I don't do it the same way. For example, I changed the language from Spanish to English. Who did that? Derek? My sexual energy did that. I didn't want to do it. I was resisting to do it. But my sexual energy said, man, if you don't reinvent, you're going to die. And I was like, uh-oh. And I had to do it. And obviously to die, it doesn't mean to die physically. It means like culturally die. You will not be relevant anymore. If you continue with this pattern, you need to change the pattern. You need to open the possibilities of the world. You need to open new portals in the universe. And your sexual energy demands that. So every time that someone tries to encapsulate me in a category, I reinvent myself. So back in the day, people say, oh, yes, Derek Israel, he's the coach of success, right? Motivation, success, blah, 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 blah. And I then changed myself to the spiritual guru. And then people said, oh, yes, Derek Israel, the coach, motivational, but also he's like a spiritual guru. And then I changed myself to the psychologist. Oh, yes, Derek Israel, the psychologist that is like kind of a spiritual guru and a motivational success speaker, blah, 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 blah. And then I changed myself to marketing and business. And then, oh, yes, Derek Israel, the guy that speak about digital media and businesses and psychology and what else? Spiritualism and motivation. And then I changed myself to sexual guru. And now you need to say, oh, yes, Derek Israel, the sexual guru, spiritual guy, psychologist, business entrepreneur, and motivational speaker. And next year, I will change myself again. Why? Because my sexual energy demands reinvention. One of the most famous wrestler of all time, The Undertaker, he said, the most important thing for a wrestler to have success is the capacity to reinvent the gimmick. And the gimmick is like the character. He's not the Undertaker, he's a man. Triple H is not Triple H, he's a man. Right? But that is the kind of a character. They bring a character to the wrestling world. So Undertaker said, the most important factor is the capacity of that wrestler to evolve that character, that gimmick through time is, the factor that will determine his success long term. And if we study the career of Undertaker, we can see that he changed a lot. He started being very like the dead man. Then he changed to the one that he used to run the motorcycle. He was like more like a bad guy, kind of a badass. And then he changed again to the dead man again, but a different way. Like Undertaker always was reinventing his character, and that's why he's one of the greatest of all time in wrestling. And we all know the Undertaker because he was connected with his sexual energy and he let change happen in his professional life a lot, constantly, without resistance. Also, one of the things that make LeBron James very good is that he continued to evolve his game. Now he's going to the fourth year with the Lakers. He's, I don't know, 36 years old or 37, something like that. He's getting old, but he keeps improving his game. He's shooting from the outside better than ever. He's working on his dribbling. He's working on his influence outside the NBA, becoming like a more like a figure that do altruistic stuff. Like he's changing the game. He's not conforming with the old LeBron James, with the old ways. He's not trying to dunk every time. He's not trying to penetrate to the basket every time now. He's changing his game. He knows that he have some years. He doesn't have the same physical capacity. So he's modifying. And now he, in this past season, yes, he was eliminated before going to the playoff. That's sad for me because I'm his fan, but he did a good he have a good season, although he has some injuries. Like he averaged like 30 points per game, something like that, something that was higher than other years when he was younger. And you was like, at least I was like, how the hell you do that? Well, sexual energy. He keeps working and reinventing his game. So, what is to change? Well, to change is to let your sexual energy do her work through you without resistance, without you resisting the whole thing. So I don't want you to resist your creativity. I don't want you to resist your expression. I don't want you to resist your love. I don't want you to resist your healing. I don't want you to resist your breathing. I don't want you to resist your intimacy. And I don't want you to resist your invention. And if you do that, if you connect with that and you are open for that, you will understand a fact of life that will modify you forever and drive you for progression and change. And that is that your sexual energy is relentless. It will never stop pushing for more change. That let that be, my friend. Let that be. So, all right, let's wrap this off. This was your Dr. Derek Israel. Please share your thoughts down in the section of comments. I want to know your opinion about that. In which of these dimensions do you think that you need to work more? Just share it with the community. I will be reading you. Also, please share it with your friends. That helps a lot. That this content is seen for by more people, and we can help more lives. Also, remember that you can donate only $5 per month, and by that you are helping us to help other people with this free podcast. In this podcast, we are sharing the most profound information in the world, and we are doing it for free. So if you want to help us continue to do that, well, help us in Patreon and you will receive exclusive content as well by becoming a Patreon supporter. The link is in the description below. Also, remember that we have a chat for those that are doing this challenge and for those that are doing these techniques and that wants a community of people that are the same, that are doing this work. Is totally free. Just join through the link that is in the description to our exclusive Telegram group. And remember that I have my life purpose course, first time ever in Spanish. All right, 75% discount. It's a couple of days more left with this offer. And if you connect with your life purpose, it will be inevitable that you will connect with your sexual energy, because they are so interconnected. When you are connected with your sexual energy, you will know the direction of your life. And that direction of your life that is giving so much meaning to your existence, we call that life purpose. And when you are living your life purpose, every day is a mission. Every day is a new test. You have clarity every day of what you should be doing because you know exactly why you came to this earth. And I want you to live in that state. I don't want you to live in a confused state, because that is not good for the world. And obviously, that is not good for you. So let me help you to discover your life purpose at your own time, at your own pace. Everything is pre-recorded. You will get access to the life purpose workbook and the life purpose contract. And you will be having access for life with only one payment, 75% off. This is almost a gift. And I think that it's time that you discover and manifest your life purpose. Go to the link below.